So you're recording. Yes,
Yeah.
Gene,
Do we want to do the show?
I need a haircut.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I was just telling you is the person who cuts my hair moved like a 5-minute drive away. And
Yeah.
I'm being a punk about it because I used to be able to just walk over there.
But don't you run ultra marathons?
Yeah, I like how you say ultra marathons. So yes, Gene, I do. Okay.
So what's the deal?
What does that have to do with look at this? Hold on. Look at out this over here. It's kicking out. Is that gray? You just roll the damn thing. Gee.
What's happening? You're not happy.
Just kidding. I'm in great mood, man. How are you?
Equally good mood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's got you in a good mood?
It's Tuesday.
Well, okay.
And Tuesday I talked to Carl.
You know, that's why I'm in a good mood every day. Because Carl's talking to me all the time. All the time. All the time.
Is it Steven or is it Mark? Mark Spector or Steven Grant? Are their names? Moon Knight? You're not watching Moon Knight?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, you can catch up on it later.
Severance. I'm watching Severance.
Severance is weird.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's very weird.
So weird. Gene, as professional podcasters, I feel it is my duty to tell you there's a little bit of crackle coming through there.
Through the mic?
No pop, just crackle. Yeah. Just crackle.
Nice.
No, I'm not joking.
I'll try to stand still.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Gene, what are we talking about today? We got more lessons from 10 years, don't we?
We do.
Do you know what they are? Or
no, I have no idea. You didn't send me the list.
It's gonna be a short freaking episode. I got it right here, Gene.
Cool. I think we're on 7.
I think we are. It was supposed to be 10, but let's face facts. I'm not good at counting. It ended up being 11. But the first one we're going to talk about today is we have to believe in ourselves before anybody else is going to believe in us. Now, I'm going to push back on myself. Maybe our moms.
Well, yeah.
Our moms.
Yeah.
Some of our dads, let's be honest.
Not all of them.
They may act like they do, but they've just been told to do that now. But yeah, we have to believe in ourselves before anybody else is going to believe in us. And this is such a huge thing in the creative space. How many people do you know when you started out that undercharged?
Including me, everyone.
Everyone. Yes, and why? Because we had no faith in ourselves that what we were doing was of value.
Right.
How ridiculous is that? And now, and I like to think the Bureau is a big part of this, people raise their rates. People charge more. People are going for value-based sometimes because they think this has so much value that somebody should pay for it because of what they're getting. That was never the case. But even now, I still see it with certain groups in the community, right? Certain types of shops, certain types of founders. If they didn't grow up in an environment where people were confident, then they cave really quickly. And I think this is a challenge. I mean, I still have it, right? I guess now I can call myself an event organizer, right?
You should by now.
I've done like 100.
Right.
Like, not joking.
It's time.
100. I still don't really feel like that's a thing. It's in my wheelhouse because it's difficult, right? We talked about that last week. You know, the work that we do is really hard. But I think everybody needs to understand that they bring something to each engagement, and the people that are paying are the people who need the work. They need to do it. We always seem to forget that. We think the people that are paying are doing us a favor.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm paying a plumber to come into my house, it's because I don't know how to fix a sink. We've established that if you've ever watched me try.
Right.
So, but I will gladly pay a plumber. I won't play a plumber.
Or pump a plumber?
Unless there's good money and it's a sitcom on TV.
Right.
$80 an hour, $100 an hour. Plumbers charge more than some shops did when they started.
Depends on what the plumber's coming over to do. They could
I
charge
have
$1,000
no.
an hour.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know what you're doing in South Carolina. In Florida, okay. I really have not made
say,
a
where are
strong
you going with
point
that,
here.
man?
Yeah, okay. We hire them to fix things that involve plumbing.
Not in Florida.
Yeah,
I think that you at least need to get the relationship between you and the client to be equal, right?
Yeah,
you need to get it to that 50-50 point. We're talking about making what you deserve. I mean, ideally you'd be making more, but like at least needs to be equal. It definitely doesn't need to be 100% in their favor.
No, I mean, and so this is interesting because you said it needs to be equal, and a couple of things. First, we each bring different value, right? So we each probably should charge a different amount depending on what we're doing. Now that's confusing and complicated, so we whittle it down to one rate or whatever.
Right.
But I was watching Chris Rock. I don't know what this was from. It was some feed that I was watching, but he was talking about the key to great relationships, right? And what he said was, equality is not the key to a great relationship. Everyone in the relationship needs to be serving the other person.
Right.
They don't be sitting there wondering, is this fair? Is this equal? They should be sitting there going, what else can I do to make my partner better? What else can I do to take stress and pain away from my partner? How can I best serve my partner? I think it's the same with any clients, right? Or stakeholders. If you're in-house, it's like, how can you best serve them? Now, yeah, you're going to end up with some that are just jackasses, right? I mean, that's going to happen. But then you also have to ask yourself, how am I best serving my company? Because sometimes you shouldn't be dealing with those individuals. But I think one of the most important things to realize is you can stand up for yourself every day without being cocky, without being condescending, without being rude. In fact, when you stand up for yourself with a smile on your face, it throws people off.
Yeah, that's the ultimate strength.
If you walk in, if you're trying to get into your hotel room and they were supposed to be checking at 3 and it's 4 and they're not ready, they're ready for you to be mad.
Right.
So when you walk up and go, hey, I just checking in on that room. How are we doing? They're like, we need to get this person a room because they seem happy and I'm totally confused.
Yeah, they might be a serial killer.
Well, they proved nothing, Gene. And that was a HBO 4-part documentary. I'm clear, bud.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, believe in ourselves and then other people will too. It's the same. I remember this. I may have shared this with you before, but when I was running Engine, I had this busted down car. It was like a 20-year-old Honda Accord. It was just a piece of crap. It was hard for my team to want to follow me sometimes. Like they thought I knew what I was doing. They understood I could get the work. They understood that stuff. But what were they headed towards? Right? And I know material things are a whole different conversation, but I didn't believe in myself to get myself a car that was reliable. Forget nice or forget fancy.
Yeah. That's funny.
Right? So.
That's a whole different conversation in terms of the car thing. Yeah, because you can get to a certain point. That's a sidebar, but you can get to a certain point with stuff like that. I know a lot of people in multiple industries that feel like, they live this like frugal life, like this Dave Ramsey life, right? And I'm all for it. It's awesome. But if you drive up in a busted ass pickup from like 1995, people are going to see you get out of that thing and they're going to go, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You don't need to drive up in a Ferrari, but I mean, just like something in this decade.
Or something reliable.
Right. It doesn't look like a just a broken down thing. Like, but it's the same way you dress too. Like, and I know I'm sitting here in a t-shirt and stuff, but like, you can't show up to client meetings in like flip-flops, cut off jeans, and a tank top. Like,
can't you though?
In Florida, let's say that. You can get away with it in
Florida. Get your finger out my face.
But they're not going to take you serious. You don't have to show up in a full suit. I mean, maybe some clients you do.
Yeah.
You have to, like, there's a whole thing there. We could get into that, but
no, we could. And I'm going to go back to.
It has to go back to believing in yourself, though. You've got to believe in yourself enough to sell.
Well, and I think it was Thoreau, but beware of any enterprise that requires a change of clothing.
Yeah, well,
that has been one of my go-to litmus tests. Anytime I'm doing something, if I have to change who I am to be a part of what's about to happen, and
right.
I like who I am,
I got you.
Then I don't want that. So I know that we're way off here, but I think the most important part is believe in yourself.
Yeah, man.
And you don't have to heap praise upon yourself, but don't just keep demeaning yourself and being just this like, hey, I'm just so glad to be here. It's fine to be courteous. It's fine to be grateful. Gratitude's huge, right? But you also have to realize you belong there.
Well, yeah, and there's some psychology to this too, because I know people that work in the industry that will, and we're picking on the dress down thing, but they will dress down to sort of set the bar low, right?
Are we picking on it? I think you're picking on it. I think you were traumatized as a child, and this is all coming out now. Is this when they made you wear that Barney outfit for like 2 weeks? I remember reading about that.
Oh, I love talking to you. What's number 8?
Let's see. Almost all problems start with poor communication.
Huh?
It's true.
Yeah.
You know, the key, I think one of the key ones here is when you look at clients and there's such a confrontational relationship that can happen between a shop and a client. And you just want the conversation to be done. Like so many people get into these conversations with a prospect or a client, and they just want, hey, if I can just get them to feel good and get the hell out, because I got all this other stuff to do, or I'm uncomfortable in this conversation. And what happens is we aren't clear, right? We go for comfort instead over clarity. And when we do have that clarity, like I'll say a great example is having a glossary of terms. Right. A lot of shops do this now. I know we did it probably about 2006 or 7 when we started realizing that we were using words and the clients had a different meaning for them. And so I think they're key words that come up again and again that are confusing. And if we just say, this is what we mean by this, do you mean this? Right. And then they go, no, God, no, that means something totally different to us. So I have no good examples right now. But we'll do a whole damn episode on nothing but confusing terminology, because when we try to look smart, we do so by excluding being clear. We try to use bigger words. We try to use buzz terms, all that, and that stuff always made me ill.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, you can lack detail in a lot of things just by trying to be cool. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think there's a flip side to that too. You can over communicate. You can provide too much. Like, if there's somebody on the team that's always like sending 5-page emails, it's like, perhaps that should have been a discussion.
Well, no, I think that's right.
Like, there's, I'm kind of confusing, like, that
was a hard stop right there. I'm kind of confusing.
The mode of communication with the content, but I think that's important too.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where you pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah,
there's times where you do a Zoom call. There's times where an email is fine. But to your point, if you understand humans, then as soon as you get to that third paragraph, they've skipped half of the second one. They just start scanning because everybody's either got something else they'd rather do, or something they need to get done, or our brains just can't process. Like, this is kind of amazing. I'm going to go back and find this study. But when there's a list of 9 things, I think 9 is the maximum. We can actually see the things into the list and recall like well over half of them. But once we get to 10 or 11, the things in the middle get missed.
Yeah. I would say 9 is too many, but I'll take your word on it.
I mean, I went with 9. I have to go back and look, but I want to say that was right. I know I've lived by the rule of 9.
Yeah, rule of 9
for a long time.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, but you can go both ways. Let me ask you this:
uh
How about returning communication in the same mode that they communicated with you? That's a good way to get communication confusing. Like if somebody sends you an email and you text them back,
Oh yeah.
that to me that always confuses the shit out of me because I'm like,
Right.
where did I put that thing? Like I can't recall it because it's not like connected in the chain.
Yeah, I think also it's we each use the form of communication really probably based on multiple things, but one of them is definitely the sense of urgency to us.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
somebody texts you with something and they want you to reply right away and you send back an email, in a way you're kind of saying slow your roll.
yeah, yeah.
You
Right.
know what? Or to your point, there's going to be a need for us to go back and look at this later. I know when I'll sometimes send a text to Gabe about a legal thing, and he'll be like, "Hey, let's move this to email,"
Yep.
right?
Oh,
Because
that's
he needs that thread. But I think that's something all of us can do.
I like that move.
Request to move it
That's a
to a
good
different
move.
mode
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, this is important to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it here."
That's a
Uh,
solid move.
I think also the just coming back and confirming that what you heard is what they said, because a lot of times that's not happening.
That's
And
solid
you
too.
don't have to do it all the time, like two sugars. You don't have to do it all the time, right?
Right.
But when you do it, it should be for those really important matters that if you get it wrong, it's going to screw up a lot of things, including your relationship.
Mhm. Mhm. I like it.
Mm.
Good stuff.
All right. So, okay, this is a big one and it's really hard. Okay. I'm going to move on. Um, when your company grows, key people are going to leave, and that's okay. You know what? We, as founders, people managing teams, humans,
Mm.
when somebody leaves our tribe, when somebody leaves our team, we internalize it. We think we did something wrong. I screwed up that relationship. We project it on others,
Mhm.
right? When the reality is, we're all going to have a vision of where we're going, right? It could be your
Right.
vision is, I have no vision, right? I'm just going to move forward and whatever happens, happens. But that's still kind of how you see things happening. The odds of two people having the same vision that's going to last their entire lifetimes is really, really small.
Mhm.
All you can hope for is that at some point in the distant future, you're going to diverge.
Mhm.
But to start, when you get to a certain point of growth, those original people who came in, the original, like let's say eight, because nine is too many, according to Gene.
Thought we were
No,
going with rule of 9.
let's say you get to eight people, right? Those people all believe in the same stuff. They think that it's them against the world. They're going to build this company. We're different. We're doing things our way. And then you get to 20, and those original eight are like, what do you mean we're just taking one for the money?
Mhm.
I don't even know who this person is, and they're on my project. What's happening? And so, in a matter of time, they're going to be disillusioned and they're going to move on. If, as a founder or somebody that's leading a company, you want to get to a certain size, acknowledge up front some people are going to leave, and even talk to them about it,
Hmm.
and just say, "Hey, I know when you first joined, we were a small team. Everybody was doing everything. There's tremendous opportunity to add value. That's still going to be there, but we are going to grow the team. We are
Mhm.
going to get bigger because we want to do projects like this, or we want to be able to offer the team this, or the individual something they're not going to be able to get if we stay small." But if you don't have a rationale for it, if you can't sit down with them and talk to them about it and say, if this isn't a fit,
Hmm.
let's see how far we can roll. Let's see what we can do to get you in a better place. But I'll tell you the big one right now is some of those top people, as soon as they see that the turnover is starting to settle a little, it's the top people who are starting to leave now. I've
Hmm.
seen this over the last 6 months where somebody who was really part of the leadership team didn't want to leave the company in a lull.
I
They,
got you.
they wanted to make sure everybody was okay because they did care about the team.
Right, because they were there from the beginning. Yeah.
But then they got to a point where they said, wait, if I'm constantly battling somebody leaving because they're
Right.
getting a 40% increase in their salary,
What am I doing?
Why am I working so hard and not getting that bump in mine? And a lot of them, I mean, Gene, it's a 50, it's 100, it's $150,000 increase on what they were getting. And that's life-changing money.
Yeah, you got to
for
go.
people. Yeah.
Wow. I'm not sure I'm qualified to speak to that level of change at that level of the business, but it makes sense.
Well, you've definitely, I mean, had some really, really great people that didn't want to work with you. I mean, I've got a list if you want me to read through it.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm one of them. Okay. No. All right, let's move on before Gene cries and before I make more weird phrasing that could be caught by censors.
Just be careful.
Roll that one back, kids. I don't know what I was doing there. Okay.
Be careful.
And then we're at the final one, Gene. You know what that is?
Number 10?
It's actually number 11.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I'm not great at counting. Together, we can accomplish more. You know, I mean, this goes all the way back to the jellyfish days for me. It's if you bring people together who want to accomplish something, you want to do something, and it can be different companies. I mean, the Bureau, this is the foundation of the Bureau. That people who you could see as competition, you want to help.
Okay. I could see that.
No, you better, because it's my livelihood.
There's that aspect to it. There's the other side of that, which is I've experienced more than once, but like you're basically an owner operator, right? Maybe you have like 2 or 3 team members or employees or whatever. But to get that company to the point where you're not required to sit at your desk and do, pixel work every day. You've got to get
pixels.
You got to get what other people do and the responsibilities they have outside of your head. So to learn how to work together, how to learn how to work with other people, how to learn how to let it go so other people can do it and make it theirs. I think there's a certain level of, owner that hits too, that they have to learn how to do that. 'Cause it's hard to let shit go.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's hard to.
What would you call it? Like the only I can do it well in this scenario mindset,
I would call that fear.
Yeah, there you go.
Or egomania, right? so no, honestly, it's like feeling like you have to be the one to do it is because there's some fear that if somebody else comes in, they're going to see other things that need to happen. And a lot of us, when we started companies, we did kind of have a closet that we just put all the things we never wanted anybody to know about. For example, most of my estimating tactics are trying to figure out how much it's going to cost and then multiplying by 2.5, because I know I'm so far off, right? I don't want somebody else coming in to do operations and explain to them that I generally don't know what I'm doing. So I just throw it up, as high as I can.
Right.
Or other people who it's like, I don't want people to know that I spent 2 hours working on this message because I'm just so worried about what it's going to be. You bring somebody else in, and if you have to show them around the house, right, and how things work, and then you have to show them your quirks,
right,
we feel exposed.
You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain why you do something the way you do it. If it's like just your preference or your emotion or whatever, this is how it's done. If you can improve it, but this is how it's done.
For looking inside the team, it's like right now I'm trying to find a biz dev person, somebody to come in and manage partnerships, really. And the challenge I have for like about 3 weeks was I wanted to clean up the house before I had somebody come in to clean up the house.
That's literally like I hear it at the gym where they're like, well, I'm going to go get in better shape, and then I'll come back and join. And I'm like,
I want to be in the gym if I'm not in good shape because other people are in good shape.
I'm like, well, tell me what gym and what program that is. I'll join it with you, and then we'll both get in shape.
Yeah.
Because that program sounds awesome.
It does, right? You know what? I'm going to open a gym, and it's called Pre-Gym.
Yeah, Pre-Gym.
Pre-Gym. Come here to get in great shape so you can then go
to the gym.
To Gene's gym.
Yeah.
And
they're all the same. I don't understand. Yeah.
But the other part of this, so we're talking a lot about, letting go. We're talking about owners letting go and learning to work with others. But I think the thing about the Bureau, from that very first time we got together to today, is that there are people out there who accomplish something and they want to share it with everybody, right? They're like, we cracked the code on keeping our talent pipeline full. Here's what we did, right? Or it could be somebody else being vulnerable and saying, I can't figure out how to fix this. Does anybody have anything they've done? And somebody else getting to give back and say, we've actually fixed that. We changed our contract to say this now. So it becomes this big marketplace of giving and receiving, right? And that's what life should be, really, right? It's like if we all just keep working together, but it gets back to Chris Rock and that whole conversation around relationships. Almost everybody in the Bureau is there to serve before they receive. And that's why so many people, when they first come in, they're really quiet because they're absorbing and they're getting a lot. But I've talked to some members who've been there for a couple of months and then jump in and do some stuff. And when I ask them, they're like, I just wanted it to be a value.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be something that had been done before. Again, learning to work with others takes time, and it can be challenging because we don't have faith in ourselves. It's like,
believe in yourself, Carl.
Gene, it's never been a problem except for when it's been a problem. Oh, dude.
Yeah, right.
We all get there, right? But that's the other part about having other people around you. If it's at the Bureau, if it's somewhere else or whatever, people who see that you're down and want to lift you up. I got a text from somebody yesterday and they just said, hey, it seems like you've been a little quiet lately. Is everything cool? And I was like, yeah, things are actually really great. But knowing that somebody was paying attention, and because I had just gotten in a zone of getting stuff done, it was nice to know somebody had my back. They were looking out and they wanted to make sure I was okay. And they were ready to have that conversation if I wasn't. That to me is just a huge part of where we are. And you've been that person for me before.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Remember that time? And then you said, hey, step away from the ledge. And I was like, all right. But it sure is pretty outside. No, I mean, you have been, I'm really fortunate to have so many great friends. And I think that's part of what becoming part of a community is. It's not like everybody's suddenly your best friend.
Right.
But you're going to find them there and they're going to know who you are. They're going to understand the context of what you've been through. And well, kind of magical.
I mean, as a testament to you too, I mean, you have to build that environment to where they feel safe and where they feel they can trust each other. I mean, that takes a lot because not every community is like that. No.
And we have challenges. Like when I was looking at it a couple of weeks ago and I started doing a SWOT analysis, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the biggest threat the Bureau has right now is the level of ongoing success.
Well,
in terms of growing, because it means that it's harder to know who all's there. It's harder to know everything's happening. So we're actually working on some foundational changes right now for the community.
That's great.
If I can find this biz dev person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Growing too fast can definitely be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a weird thing to call a problem, but it definitely can be. I mean, you can grow so fast it destroys your business.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm pretty sure that's a big part of what happened to Engine, right?
Well,
growing too fast with one giant fire hose of a client.
Yeah. Well, that is not good. Yeah.
Yeah. I was okay. So we've come back around to, I don't value myself because I let that happen, but I do value myself because I rebounded.
You did rebound. Well,
all right. Yeah. Gene,
all right. Good list.
It was a good list. Thanks everybody for listening. And I think we're going to start bringing some more guests in. What do you think, Gene?
I like guests.
Yeah.
Guests.
We had people really liked the episode with Warren. Got some good feedback on that. And you know what else? I think we're going to start talking about, I'm springing this on you right now. So get mad if you need to. Hey. I think we're going to start talking about our sponsors and partners during the show.
Okay.
Instead of just doing stuff at the beginning, because I think that's a better way and we can make it more topical and all that kind of stuff. Like a great ointment, we'll make it more topical. Now, it's not going to get better in the show.
Definitely not subdermal. All right.